Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how to make a super simple table saw sled. For the base, you're going to need a 2 foot by 2 foot piece of plywood, and this is just regular sanded plywood. If you want a nicer piece, you can get 2 by 2 birch, which birch looks more like this. And then you're going to need some 1/4 inch plywood, and you don't even need this much. I just haven't picked up the 2 by 2. You're just going to need really a little sliver of that. And then you got just another little piece of 3/4 inch plywood. First, you'll look at your 3/4 inch 2 by 2 that you have, and you want to make sure whenever you get it home that it's going to sit flat on your table saw. So it's supposed to be, plywood's supposed to be flat, but you can't trust, especially from the big box stores. So get home, make sure it's not going to be standing up proud on any of the sides here. And then we don't have to cut the base at all. The base we're going to leave at the 2 by 2. Would be perfect size for most of your table saws. Bring the saw right down the middle. That'll give us 12 inches on each side for any type of cut we may need. So your first step will actually be working with the 1/4 inch, because we're going to make our own T-rail tracks for the bottom of the board. So I'll start with ripping down this 1/4 inch plywood. And the first cut, I'm not going to measure anything because I'm just ripping off kind of this ugly edge here. I'm going to run it down. Now that I cut off that no good end, we're going to cut a slot to fit in the T-track here. Now, I hate measuring out stuff. I always like try to make a jig or something, so I don't have to try to put millimeters on here. So I'm just going to lay this out along this T-track here and kind of mark it, just so I know roughly that should fit. But I went ahead. So these tracks won't sit down into it. They're actually going to sit up into the top here, because it's going to be flush with the top of your table saw. So you don't want it to be too snug, and then you won't be able to push your sled. So this is just a hair, just too snug up top here. So bring the fence in a little bit, just a little bit. I like it. All right, so keep that one. Make one more. Now, like I said earlier, these are going to be at the top of the T-track, so they can be level with your table saw, not sunken down in. So for us to be able to glue it to the 2 by 2, we need something to hold it up to the top. You can use anything, really. A lot of people use washers. I happen to have these brad nails here. So I'm just going to set these brad nails down in the T-track. We'll see if that works height-wise. Perfect. Holds it right up to the top. So now we'll do the same thing. We'll put both of these down. All right, we've got our 1/4 inch sitting flat in the T-track. So now we're going to glue this to these. So you're going to lower your blade, and then we'll end up setting the 2 by 2 right down on top of them. But also you're going to use your fence. That'll keep it square. So go ahead and tip set everything up. Line it up with the base here. And then try to find your middle line. You can eyeball it. It doesn't have to be perfectly split 12 and 12. Now the key is not to put too much glue on this, because we don't want it squeezing out all over our table saw. Now place our board against the fence. Line it up with our line at the bottom. Go ahead and drop it down. All right, now I'm going to leave some pressure on it for about 20 minutes, just to make sure the glue starts tacking up before we pull it out. All right, so it's been about 3 minutes, and I'm already done waiting. So, we'll get this stuff off of here. What I'm going to do to speed up this process is grab just my finished nailer, and I'm going to hold the T up to it just to make sure the nail doesn't push it away. We're just going to put a tip set nail in there. Perfect. There's our track. With everything looking good so far, and I see those finish nails didn't blow through the bottom here, so I know their length is good. So I'm going to put a couple more in here. just to hold it in place while that glue. All right, go ahead and try it out. Now, if you find that it does catch or something, that's no big deal. Just sand down the edge of one of those a little bit. Perfect. There we go. Set that off to the side. Now grab your other 3/4 inch piece. And this one's already cut the same 2 feet from the manufacturer, so I know those are true. So now I'm just going to decide how tall I want the fence is going to be on both sides of here. I think just 2.5 inches. I think is what I've seen other people do. So we'll just go with that. Now ripping a board like this is pretty questionable. This kind of rip with the fence here definitely can send one firing. So if you got one of these or anything, that could definitely help it from shooting off on you. If you don't, then just watch out and stand clear. All right, for what's going to be this part, so your far away guard, it doesn't have to be square to the blade or anything, so it doesn't, we don't need to do anything special here. We're just going to screw it from the underside. All right, flip this upside down. I'm just going to tack this on, lining it up with the edge of the plywood we already have. Go ahead and use a countersink bit, just so these screws can sit all the way in. You do not want them sticking out. Now we'll go ahead and make our first cut into the sled. Figure it out there. I guess I should have mentioned this. I don't know if I did when I was installing these screws. But obviously make sure you don't put a screw right in the middle where we're going to hit it with the blade. Anywhere else along this will be fine. We're just cutting deep enough just to make it about a little over halfway. It'll give us something to be able to line up this side of the fence. All right, now after I set this here and started looking at it, I decided for this end where I'm really gonna be grabbing it and holding wood and everything, I want it to be a little thicker. So I'm gonna cut another slice of this and glue it together so we can double it up. All right, now we're gonna put this on, so measure it out. I'm gonna leave probably about 3 inches or something remaining on this side, just to be able to add things later on, like just have more, I don't know, just more room over here. So bring your blade up, put this about where you're gonna want it, and then we're gonna make sure it's square to the blade. So your teeth on the blade stick out a little bit, so make sure you're not hitting those with your square, but all right, that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna hold this here. We'll make a line. Now that would just get us kind of close to where we want to be. Slide this off so I can be able to shoot a brad nail from underneath. Make sure we're close to our line still. Alright, so what shooting the one brad nail on this side will do is allow us to still pivot this to square it up perfectly. So now we'll bring it back in. Alright, hold that in place and slide your board back. Brad nail in there. Now, once again, bring it forward. All right, not on the teeth. Against the fence. Perfectly square. Check it this way. There we go. Now we'll slide this back off and we'll go ahead and shoot just some screws, countersink them. Make sure, once again, that you're not going to be shooting a screw right here. Do one full cut, bring the blade up. You'll notice now, whenever you push your sled through, the blade will come out here. So just to keep your fingers from getting caught, I'm going to add a couple more blocks here. I'm also going to add a couple blocks right here to this side. And that's just because this is obviously cut up to the top here. So probably making these at 3 inches would be good, but I'm adding more stability blocks here. But we can cut the blocks out using the new table saw. I'm just going roughly 2.5, 3 inches here. You set up a stop. Having handles are very much optional. You can put some here, here even. Now what you're kind of one to watch out for is being able to clamp your stop blocks. You don't want it to be in the way. But I am going to put one over here on my, generally the pushing side I have here.